You're listening to the Art of Making a Home podcast with Sandra Stefanucci, a home builder with over 37 years of experience in the industry. This series shows you the construction industry from the contractor's perspective. As well, what is it really like to work with the many different types of industry experts like interior designers, architects, and subtrades? And a lot of our friends in those positions are going to come on during this podcast and have a discussion with us about what it's like to work with the contractor and really what is it like to build a home. We all want to share our expertise with you so you can make the right decisions when it comes to wanting to build your dream home. So let's get started.
Hello, beautiful people. It's Sandro Stefanucci. Welcome to the year 2023, and we're going to change things up a little bit this year. I'm going to read from the book of Proverbs. Some of you may know what it is. Some of you may not. It's a lot of very wise sayings from Solomon, the king of Israel. I'm going to start with Proverbs 1:1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of King David of Israel. Here are proverbs that will help you recognize the wisdom and good advice and understand sayings with deep meaning. They can teach you how to live intelligently and how to be honest, just, and fair. They can make an inexperienced person clever and teach young people how to be resourceful. These proverbs can even add to the knowledge of the wise and give guidance to the educated, so that they can understand the hidden meanings of proverbs and the problems that the wise raise. With that said, today we're going to talk about renovations. And as homeowners, when they're thinking about a renovation, they've got lots of different ideas that are going through their head. And I find that most of the time they're not quite sure on which way they should go. So I like to kind of break it down into two categories. One is, do you really love the house and are you going to stay here for a long time? Or do you want to increase the value, which you could do at the same thing. You can increase the value and stay there for a long time. But, what's your prime motivation? You're going to be there for a few years. So, that really goes to, how much money you're going to spend. And again, your budget too. There's a lot of factors within those two kind of categories of what you want to do. So if you are looking at, what's going to increase the home value the most and stay within that kind of category, kitchen improvements are typically the best money spent within that category. Kitchen improvements are always a great way to go in spending money. That's a place to start. So bathrooms are also great. They're also a great improvement. I always say to people, will you ever go to, there's some fabulous restaurants have these bathrooms that are so nice and it makes you feel like you actually want to stay in there for a little while and hang out. Having a great bathroom is, I believe, money well spent, and you sell your house a couple of years down the road. Well done bathroom is worth its weight in gold. So we can talk about lighting improvements. There's another way of going to add some value to your renovation. Energy efficient improvements. That could be like windows, doors. Then you get into even greater energy efficient improvements depending on your budget. Your envelope, your outside envelope. Maybe you want to improve the insulation on the house as well. That obviously carries a different price figure to it, but you can really save a lot of energy, electric or gas, whatever it is, by doing those kinds of improvements. So we talk about those as we go along as well. So we try to narrow those things down and try to get the budget and the best bang for your buck, I believe. But you really need to talk to somebody that kind of knows what they're doing, that well versed in renovations. Again, there's curb appeal improvements too that can add value that may not cost a whole lot of money. And I guess there's renovations that you might want to avoid. Anything that's fat, different kind of wall textures on there that can really, when you get into those crazy kind of designs and stuff like that, that could be something that could devalue rather than value your home. Some crazy tiling. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff out there that would only lend to a few people that would actually, unless you really don't care and you really want to do this crazy tiling, colors, different shapes and stuff like that, that's fine. But typically quirky tiling does not go over well if you're going to sell your house. Brings no value at all It'll cost you a lot of money and it will be no value to you at the end of the day. Too much carpeting. Most people want hardwood floors these days. Nobody wants carpeting anymore because of the allergens and so forth. There are some crazy lavish high-end kitchens on homes that can be really a waste of money. I think at the end of the day, if you got some massive house that warrants these lavish type of high-end kitchens, and that's great. But if you're going to be doing a renovation, I think you can do a good job. Be fair with your budget on the kitchen cabinets. Get what you want, but not spend a whole bunch of money. Again, like going super high-end with that as well. People figure that they can get more money if they put more money into the bathroom or the kitchen or whatever it is, that just because they put more money into it, they're going to get that money out of it. That's not necessarily true. I think you have to be very wise about that. You can still do a great job, do some nice stuff without spending a load of money on those areas again. So, I think you just got to be smart about it. Get somebody who knows what they're doing first off, a renovator that knows what he's doing, that he can guide you in those areas so you're not spending any more money than you have to, but still get some good bang for your buck and put some nice stuff in there that will increase the value, but not spend too much money. People that definitely have their ideas on paint colors and whatever, tiling, flooring, stuff like that. I try to give them the best advice they can, but sometimes they're really stuck on having it that way. And I let them know that this is not appealing to everybody. Like, I know it's very specific to that person. Your chances are you're going to be throwing your money out. And some people do change, and then some people don't. That's what they want, and that's great. But I always let them know that it's probably going to be a waste of money. You'll probably have to change it later on and when you go to sell the house. I think it's just really working with your contractor and, at least giving the advice of how you should be spending your money, what kind of things you should be putting together, staying within neutral colors if you want to be able to sell a house in a few years. So again, those are all things you have to talk about before you kind of get going on the reno and how you're going to do it. Pinterest and those things they're great for ideas and stuff, but they can also be very lavish and out there when it comes to different styles, right? So if you want to constantly start bashing your tile out and go crazy with something different, then go for it. But it just doesn't make sense practically. Some of the things we look at as well as, do you have pets? Do you have small children? Maybe you should have something, your kitchen cabinet should be maybe a little more durable, depending on what you have. Like, you got a solid wood cabinet that scratches super easy. Maybe you want to go something a little different, a paint grade that's a bit tougher. And, even countertops and stuff like that, just to that, something that'll last the test of time. And then, a kid can sit there and beat on it and it's not going to kill it, right? With renovations, I think, more so than, say, building a new home, you're going to have varying prices that you're going to encounter when you're getting the thing. So it's not always cut and dry. And the reason is because it's so much easier for somebody to cut corners on your renovations, just to get the end product looking like it is, right? So, are they really fixed? Are they looking at the framing? If you're tearing a wall apart and stuff like that, are they looking at other stuff? Hey, you know what? This isn't kosher. Do they care? So are they just going to just do it the way you want it and not even point things out that may be an issue later on? So again, it really goes into experience and having a qualified guy there. So maybe the owner doesn't have to be there, but there has to be somebody that's got experience, like that knows renovations. I find that so valuable. And I go, I go and I deal with all that, and I set up all the trades within those rentals, because I know that stuff myself. And even our guys, I'll go over every single day of all the little things that we should be looking for and trying to fix if we encounter these certain types of things. However it is, like these older homes, they all had like a 2-inch common nail, right? Framing or carpentry. That you don't put common nail in a floor, like on the subfloor through it into a joist. Because I've seen people drive screws and floors like crazy and they still can't get rid of the squeak. It's because there's a common nail under there. The nail's got to go, right? And we do rentals like that at the whole floors. We rip every single nail out, take it and fill it with PL glue, and then put another subfloor on top of that with galvanized ring nails so that they hold and they don't go up and down and squeak, right? So just stuff like that. You don't get a lot of guys doing that thing, but if you're not well versed in those areas and know what to deal with as far as squeaks go and how that kind of works, again, the price difference is going to be vast. So don't always go by the price. Deal with somebody that knows what they're doing. At least you can compare apples to apples if you get contractors that knows what he's doing and he's well versed in renovations, period. Thank you guys so much. That's another episode. Looking forward to what 2023 has in store. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to The Art of Making Home. Make sure you follow us on one of your favorite platforms to listen to podcasts, either it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or many more. You can find all our information at anchor.fm/artofhome. And if you want to email us as well for any questions from our guests or Sandra about building your home, all you have to do is send us a message at the Art of Making Home Podcast at gmail.com. We'll talk to you next time.